Hey everybody, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back. So in today's video, I'm doing something a little bit different and I am going to be showing you how I'm setting up a bullet journal that I'm going to be using for my work related stuff. So I've realized over time that my Hobonichi, which is what I use for planning, has turned into more of a memory keeping planner. And while I do have some daily tasks in there that I need to do, it's mostly been, personal related. I do put some work tasks in there, but I really want a notebook that has all of my to-dos and that I'm able then to make notes in and draw some ideas of projects and things that I have. So that is the reason why I decided to do a separate notebook so that I can have everything in one place, because while I love the Hobonichi, there's just not enough pages for me to be able to kind of draw out my ideas. And oftentimes if I'm doing a album or if I've got a project life spread, I kind of like to draw those things out just so I know exactly the photos that I need to print, so I'm not over printing, or, how the design is looking. I really just like to lay things out on paper. I know people that do it digitally, but I really like to do it on paper. And I thought how fun it would be to go back to my roots, which is kind of where I started before I got the Hobonichi, and do a bullet journal. So if you have not seen my Hobonichi / bullet journal video, I have it linked in the cards and below that you can check that out. It will show you how I've used it in the past. My big issue with the bullet journal is the setup, right? I don't love having to take that time every week, but what I've noticed since I started is it really is not taking too much time, because all I'm really doing is putting in the weekly date, and then I'm kind of doing a very simple list of to-dos. I write down Monday and then I write the things that I have to do that day. So it's really not taking a lot of time. And I even feel like I don't need to write too many notes in there, because I've got my Hobonichi where I do a lot of my other note taking. I guess it's just going to be, I guess I do take notes work related, but I have a separate section for that. Now you won't see that in this video. This is more of a setup video. I will have a video coming up showing you how I've kind of filled all of this out. Maybe I'll do like a mid-August video. You can see that I'm actually starting this, what is this? This is a future log. I'm starting my future log. It's technically not a future log, but I'll explain that in a minute. Looks like a future log, but I'm technically starting in July because I had a spot for 6, and I just wanted it to be even. And originally I had set this up for July. This is actually my second time doing this, but the first book that I set up, the pages were printed wrong. Like in the middle of the book, there were a couple signatures that were printed wrong. And so Archer and Olive, which is what this notebook is, sent me a new one. So I ended up starting over. And by the time I got the book, it was already almost August. So I just went ahead and, set this up for August, but I am including July on this quote unquote future log page. So instead of really doing a future log here, what I am doing is more of a planning. So there are several things that I need to do every month, projects that I need to do for Allie Edwards, projects that I want to do for myself that I will put in here as a plan. So it kind of is a social media plan in that the things that I will and have highlighted will end up being, due dates and things like that. That is, I will get into more detail when I show you how I have filled everything out in this book. So probably I will do that maybe at the end of August. I was going to say mid-August, but I guess it is mid-August right now since it's the 18th. I am so in la land about what the date is right now. So at the end of August, I will show you how I filled out the entire month. I can tell you right now, after using it for halfway, for 16 days, I really enjoy it. I have been thinking about maybe next year doing something a little bit different, maybe something a little bit smaller. But for right now, I am really enjoying just having everything in one place and, being able to have my task list and what it is that I need to do. And then also, have all of my design all in one place, just in one book. I really think this is a beautiful book. If you've never used the Archer and Olive, it's very thick pages. And I can't now remember what the thickness or the grams of the pages are, but I can write that detail down for you in the description if you are interested. I'll just throw it down there. It's a lot thicker than the Leuchtturm 1917 book that I've used in the past, which I really liked. And it actually took me a little bit to get used to this book because I do like the thinner pages. I'm very used to a Hobonichi and I love the Tomoe River paper so much that it definitely took me some time to adapt to this paper, but I really am enjoying it a lot. So anyway, I'm super excited to be able to share this with you guys as well. Doing the bullet journal was something I really, really enjoyed. And while I do love the structure of the Hobonichi, I have been excited to kind of jump back into this and knowing that if I need an extra page, then I'm going to be able to just give myself an extra page. And that is the one thing that I do really love about the bullet journal is I feel like every month what you need and how you need to use your notebook could really change drastically. And so it's really nice that you can change it up from month to month and not feel like you have to do a habit tracker every single month if it's not something that you're going to use, or maybe, you're not going to be using a calendar every month. And so that's what is so appealing about the bullet journal is I feel like you really can just suit it to your needs as you're going along and no pressure to have to do what you've done in the past. Now, as you can see, this is really monochromatic, right? I've got the black of the Fudenosuke brush pen. It's the hard tip of that. And then I've got a Tombow. I think this was N89. I think it is the warm gray is what it's called. And then I've got a Pentel 0.4. I think it's a 0.4 tip pen that I'm using to write in some of the smaller details. So you can see it's just very monochromatic. I didn't want to I'm definitely not a theme girl. And I didn't, mostly because, I think it's cute how everyone does that, but mostly it's one of those things that I didn't want to start something that I wasn't going to continue on because I really want this to be simple. I really just want to keep this for work purposes and not feel like I have to come up with a theme every month. So it just makes it so much easier for me. And I know then it's something that I will continue to do if I don't feel like it has to be creative and it has to look a certain way. Sometimes I love that. And sometimes I feel like then that holds me back. So this is just going to be total function. And while it is function, I think that it is really cute. And so then it is something that I'll want to use. One thing that you could do if you're kind of like me, and one thing I have thought about doing is maybe you could switch up the color of the marker that you're going to be using every month. I've definitely seen people do that before. It would then help you figure out which month goes with which month. But for now, I've just decided to kind of just keep this neutral theme. And I really love that warm gray color, the Tombow warm gray. I think that is going to be the lightest one, that N89. So here is the Fudenosuke brush pen that I was talking about. They do have a soft brush. I really like the hard brush. It's a little bit easier for me to control. Actually, It's not that I can't control it, rather, I feel like this soft brush I am a little bit shakier with in my upstrokes. And so I write a little bit better with the hard one. So I think that's why I tend to gravitate towards that one more. So for this spread, obviously I've got the YouTube ideas, and specifically for this one, it's going to be my YouTube checklist. So it really helps me as I'm working on something for YouTube, whether, whatever, like this video, for instance, I will write it down and then I will have all the things, all the steps that I need to do on this list that will help me make sure that I don't forget anything, whether it's, taking the photos, editing those photos, doing the description, adding the cards or the end credits to the video, whatever it is, it really helps me to make sure that I've done everything that I need to do for that video. So I always like to include something like that. So that's going to be the end for everything that I'm going to be using basically for every month. And then I'm just going to move on to the monthly spread. So for this August, I wish I could say that I used my hand to pencil this in, but I actually have a stencil, and I can't remember. It's just a very basic stencil that I believe I got from, where did I get it from? Probably Target or something like that, like Office Max. It's something that is definitely available like everywhere you can get. I used it in I think there's a smaller version of this as well, and I used it in my bullet journal before, so I had it on hand, and I really love the way it looks, just that sans serif font. And I was debating about keeping it in outline or coloring it in, and I am going to actually color it in so it's pretty bold. And I was toying with that circle. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, so I've left it pencil. I still have it pencil in my journal right now, and I think I'm actually going to leave it like that as a design choice. I kind of like the idea of it being pencil, and so I'm going to keep it for now to see what I think. That might just be something that I end up doing for August and not something that I continue on with September. One thing that I would, that you may see a little bit is maybe I'll add a sticker or two, not in the journal way, but just like in the decorative way, maybe. I mean, I can't imagine that I would do much washi, but you never know. I feel like this is something that will probably, like I said, evolve as I use it. And if I'm feeling more comfortable and I'm feeling like, I'm tired of the gray, I want to add some color, I probably will. Maybe I want to do that in the form of stickers. We'll see. I do have a lot of stickers. I'm very fond of stickers. So maybe that's something that I will do with like an opener to the month or something like that. Like do a tip in or something. You never know. We'll just have to see as the months go on. Typically, I feel like I'm just busy enough that it's just good that I can actually get a month going and a week started. So I think I'll just be happy to keep it pretty basic. So one thing that I wanted to let you guys know about this ruler that I'm using, I am not sure where I got it. I will figure that out. It might just have been Amazon. But what I really like about it is the grid is set up for 5 millimeter. And so it matches the dot grid perfectly, actually. So that's what I really like it. When I lay it over the dot grid, it just falls in line with the dots, and that's very, very satisfying. I think one of the notebooks I used before, I'm not sure if it's the Leuchtturm or the Hobonichi, but their dot grid is, I think, 4 millimeters. It's definitely a little bit smaller. Actually, the Hobonichi might be even smaller than that. So it never lined up, and it always kind of drove me crazy that I was looking for a ruler that had kind of the same grid size, but I've only ever been able to find the 5 millimeters. So I will have that linked below. And of course, all the supplies I'm using, all of the pens and stuff that I'm using, I will have that linked below. So I actually did make a mistake here. I didn't show it, and it wasn't because I didn't want to show it, but rather I was kind of trying to save on time. But as you can see on my calendar, I did not include Sunday because I don't do any work on Sunday. And so I ended up messing up the numbers because, of course, I was thinking that I was doing the Sunday anyway, and I forgot that I was skipping it. So I had to do a little bit of white out there, not a problem and not a big deal. So those 3 boxes that I'm working on right now, that is actually going to be my social media tracker. And I don't typically ever look at my numbers. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I notice it always kind of is right around the same number. And I know that people are following me. So then I'm like, obviously people are unfollowing me, which is fine. Like, that doesn't hurt my feelings. I totally understand, everyone's got to do what they've got to do. But I figure, one of my purposes, or one of the things that I want to do, is build this channel. I'd love to get to 10,000 followers on Instagram. So it might be nice to, see what's going on and, see if there's ways that I can improve that would maybe help those numbers or not. I don't really know. To be honest, I'm not really awesome at marketing. I don't know a ton, and I'm really, really bad at selling myself. I'm just doing this because I love doing this. But obviously, if I could make this more of a business instead of a hobby, then it's definitely something that I would like to do. So I'm going to do what I can do. And I felt like that watching those numbers and then, also showing how much money I made per month, I do make some money, then that would be really helpful with my goals. So anyway, that is just what that was. I also decided to do a daily tracker with this, and that kind of seems weird because it is work related, but there are tasks that I want to do every day to keep me in check, like checking my email and checking my YouTube comments and things like that, that I definitely want to make sure to get to on a daily basis, but I don't want to have to write down every single day on a to-do list. So I thought it would be best to put it in a daily tracker. And so that's why I ended up doing that. I'll do that every month. And if it ends up becoming laborious, then I might change it up. But for August, that is something that I'm going to be doing. And I think that it will work out really great. So anyway, you guys, that is it for my pages and my setup for my work bullet journal. I know that I didn't talk about every page, but I promise you when I come back in August to show you how I've been using it, I will explain everything and you'll be able to see it all filled out. Thanks so much for being here. Honestly, it means so much to me. If you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.